All right. So Jesse, are you on? If you can confirm that you can hear and see me and drop the title of tonight's episode in the comments. Welcome to those of you just joining and new to the 1% Code Collective. Awesome. You can hear and see me. I am Dr. Melva, your host. I am a board certified radiation oncologist, serial entrepreneur, and investor, and I help top income earners and other healthcare professionals create multiple streams of income so you can turn your job into a hobby and trade in those golden handcuffs for true wealth. So hello, and welcome this evening. Tonight, Jesse, if you dropped the title in, we are talking about finding and connecting with your right audience, okay? So for anyone who's watching this now or catching us on the replay, this is one of those topics that's, it comes up a lot is how am I able to connect with my right audience? And this is when we're talking about creating a new business opportunity. Now, this can be either online, offline, and as many of you know, we're franchise owners, real estate investors. So we've done online and offline streams of revenue. And regardless of the platform or the type of business, online or offline, connecting with your audience is very important. So when you think about audience, you're thinking about the customers that you want to be part of your ecosystem and in your network. I think the number one mistake that a lot of people have is it's almost like, especially as career individuals, we're stuck in these, I kind of say buckets of people that we see, and it's who our network is in our career life. When we're adding additional streams of income or passive streams of income, new business opportunities, we really have to step outside of that, warm market and circular market to explore other communities and other audiences that we can have a great impact on. And really the people who are our audience are sometimes not already in our network, but sometimes the people who are your audience are in your network, right? So how do you connect to those? How do you connect to those people? So I'm gonna go over 3 quick tips, and then I'll open it up if there are any questions. And again, if you catch this at a later date, a later time, you can pop in the questions and my team and I will do our best to pop in and answer those questions. So before we keep going, I just want to make sure that if you're not already registered, that you've registered for the 1% Code Masterclass that will be held live on Monday and Tuesday of next week, August 23rd and 24th. There's a Zoom link, so make sure you register. Jesse, if you drop the link in the comments, that's drmelva.com/masterclass, and a link will also be in the group. So make sure you register. If you're already registered, please invite your other friends. Anyone who you know will get benefit from these classes, and we'll talk everything leverage, creating additional income streams. And I'm super excited to be doing this live. So, all right, how to connect with your right audience. So number 1, you want to study what your competition isn't doing. And this is sometimes or oftentimes called speaking to or teaching to the gap. And the gap is basically what's missing in the market, okay? So when you're looking at marketing and how other people in your space are attracting customers and the audience that they need for whatever the business, proposition is, whether that's an online coaching business, whether that's a franchise, whether it's a, real estate syndication deal that you're pitching to investors, you want to see what your competition isn't doing, right? Where's there an opportunity for you to come in and do something different, to add a different value to that market? So you want to look where your competition doesn't have a strong presence. For example, when we think about offline and online businesses, you think about, neighborhoods, okay? You think about online communities, different geographic regions. And where is it in your competition with your business that you're starting to connect with your audience? Where is it that they're not, right? So for example, we're Subway franchise owners and Cold Stone franchise owners. Subway has a lot of competition because there are a lot of other Subways that are close to many other Subways, right? And they actually shut down a lot. This is a known thing in this franchise model. So when you think about communities or neighborhoods, when we're looking at a marketing plan to get in front of a different audience for Subway, they are now in their marketing, they're using influencers to help bring people into the business that otherwise wouldn't come. They're targeting specific neighborhoods. So when you look at the franchise models, a lot of them are based on schools, churches, organizations, other religious institutions. And that's how they're targeting and inviting those audience members, those potential customers into their business based on those groups, right? So pay attention to what your competition's not doing and what opportunities you have to grow your network, okay? Number 2 is study the data and refine, okay? Study the data and refine. So when you study data and you look at statistics, one, you have to measure, okay? So how do you do that? When you're working with your audience, whether it's online or offline, you want to monitor the engagement that you're having with your audience. So study the engagement. What, if it's on social media platforms, what social media are you putting out there that is eliciting a response for your audience? You want to measure it by looking at statistics on the post. There's so many different platforms, right? If we talk about social media or if we're talking about a brick and mortar, you get reactions to, different social media posts in an offline business. Like I think about, we're Cold Stone franchise owners as well. We get feedback on new product releases. We can tell based on the inventory and how much we're ordering, how much people like, for example, the new creations. That's what it is at Cold Stone, the new creations that come out. So we're studying and looking at that data on a daily, sometimes, usually weekly, monthly, quarterly perspective, but sometimes daily, depending on your goals. So you want to monitor the engagement, you want to look at the statistics on the post, and then you want to ask. And a lot of people miss this when connecting with your audience. You can put out a survey, and it can be as simple as asking, what did you like best about what we're doing? What do you think is missing? What are you struggling with the most? And you're getting to your audience's pains so that you can help to have that solution and better reach that audience, okay? So you want to study data and refine the data. So you don't want to be someone who's creating an additional income stream, especially with your ongoing career, where you're just doing the same thing and you're not stopping to, get better. And I think about one of my mentors, and she always talks about from good to great. And this is how I think too, because you can have a lot of things that are working right now, but when you want to go from good to great, you have to study, you have to measure, you have to look at data, and you have to refine based on what you find. Okay. All right. Is this helpful? Let me know if this is helpful in the comments. If you have any questions and you're watching at this point or catching on the replay, put them down below and we will help to answer those. Okay. Number 3, you want to connect emotionally. And I think this is probably one of the easiest and fastest ways to grow your audience. If you haven't heard of the hero story or the concept of story, that is probably a number 1 skill set that you need to have to connect to your audience, because when you're speaking to your audience, and you should also always be speaking to one person, right? When you're growing your audience, you know exactly what their needs are, whether that's a product-based business that you have, an online-based business, or a brick and mortar, you know what their needs are, and you're speaking to them personally, one-on-one. You're not really speaking to groups of people. You're talking to one person, so you connect. People love exclusivity. That's a hard word to say at night. People love exclusivity, okay? So instead of kind of repurposing what's already out there, you want your unique take, your unique perspective, your story. People in your audience want to know, why is it that you do what you do? Why are you offering this service? What happened in your life for you to get to this point? And where did you start? So point A, what was your transformation? You have to tell that story. Where were you and where are you now? And what did you do in between? What was that journey that got you there to where it was that you needed to be? Okay. And that's when you're connecting with people on an emotional level. So you'll hear me talk a lot. If you've watched any of the 1% Code live shows, heard the 1% Code podcast, seen any of my lives, any of the YouTube, if you've seen me anywhere, like story reels, it's very authentic. Like I talk about in the moment, whether that's my struggles with being a wife and a mom, whether that's my struggles as an oncologist working day to day, whether that's, for example, ups and downs in the franchise industry, because I'm connecting emotionally with my audience. So you understand, like, one, I'm a real person, right? I'm not a superwoman, and there are obstacles, but there's hope because I've been able to get through those with conviction, and I think that's really the word of connecting emotionally with your audience is that conviction that you have about your message. And conviction, CONVICTION, write that in the chat for me, Chesapeake. That is what attracts a higher vibe, a higher audience to you, so that you're connecting with the right audience and not the wrong one. And I'm just going to wrap this up. This one's going to be a short one tonight, but I just want to wrap this up by saying spending your time with the wrong audience because you're comfortable there or because that's where you've been is not going to benefit you in your business. Hello and welcome. Thanks for joining. Is not going to benefit you in your business. So connecting with the right audience is going to 10x any of your results to profitability because you've done what we just talked about. You've studied what the competition isn't doing. You're talking to the gap. You're studying the data and refining it. And then you're connecting emotionally with your right audience. Okay. And I think conviction is the key word here. Data, statistics, measuring. This is how you connect with your audience, okay? So let me see if there are any questions. It was a quick one tonight. I know I talk fast, but I think those are the keys when you're thinking about your audience, whether that's online or offline business that you have. So are there any questions about that? I hope this was helpful. Again, if you watch it, catch it on the replay, you can answer questions after you watch it and go back. All right, so I'm not seeing any questions. So again, if you haven't registered for the masterclass, I would love to see you there. We talk everything, leveraging your 6-figure income into a 7-figure net worth. We don't want to work. Net worth, turning your job into a hobby, the systems and strategies needed, how to get over time constraints, career constraints, all of that is there. So please join me on Monday. The registration link, if you can drop it again for me, Jessica, is drmelva.com/masterclass. And I hope to see you there. Again, if you have any questions about this live, please drop them below and I'll be sure to hang around for a little bit and take those questions. Thanks so much for joining. Good night. Bye.